Why Disney adults are going bankrupt for Disney.
Disney park today, and you'd expect to see
Rewinding, hold up.
walk around a Disney park today, and you'd expect to see excited children dragging their parents from ride to ride. Instead, you'll see adult enthusiasts running everywhere, screaming, driving around on mobility scooters, documenting every inch of their experience on TikTok. These are Disney
Because they're the only ones that have fucking money for it. And then it's also like the extreme amount of Disney Disney-fluencers that exist is unreal. Like they just go to Disney, whether it be, you know, Disneyland, Disney World in the United States or other countries, and just vlog it constantly. Which is fine, you know, it's consumption of content. It's the same thing that I can do, but it's just like, if you go to Disney now, there's such a higher influx of non-families. When Disney as a whole's kind of like a family place.
riding scooters around at just 20 years old because they can't walk, eating about 5 desserts in one day to the tune of 10,000 calories, crying at random stuff in the streets. Childless adults now outnumber families at the parks. Some visit hundreds of times a year. Some even quit their jobs and relocate to Orlando to go every single day. And it might just be fun.
What? How do they have the money to do that? Are they gonna fucking go bankrupt and then retire? Like, what are we doing? The people relocate. Also, I gotta say, Orlando, Florida is so boring. Outside of Disney or Universal, Orlando, Florida is actually one of the worst cities to visit. Not in terms of like safety. It just sucks. The whole city's built around the parks. So if you're not, like, even people that live in Orlando will be like, wow, this city blows. Because there's nothing to do other than park-related things that cost hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. Because it's not an actual, the only reason Orlando is that big and exists is to feed the parks, right? That's the only reason they're there. If Disney World and Universal didn't exist, Orlando, Florida would be like some small, no-name town that nobody's ever been to and no one's ever heard of.
On the surface, it might just seem like some stupid, immature people, but it all begins to fall into place when you realize that Disney is an empire, one that spread its roots further and wider than any other company in history. It's consumed.
Bro, I feel like that's actually not true. Can I have that take? I understand Disney's owning more and more things and they're diversifying away from like just their base cartoons and like, you know, the stuff that made Disney. But I feel like the newer generations will not have Disney adults. I think millennials and some Gen Z are the last Disney adults we will ever see. I don't foresee Gen Alpha kids getting addicted to Disney nostalgia and Disney films because they're not really growing up watching them. And they're not going to want to fucking spend, you know, the money to go to a park to see things that they don't have an emotional attachment to. Because that's like the full idea of Disney as a whole is, wow, I really love, you know, fucking Elsa and Frozen. I remember watching it when I was a kid.
Some of the most beloved franchises in modern culture: Star Wars, Marvel, Pixar, The Simpsons, Indiana Jones, and swallowed up media giants like 20th Century Fox, ABC, ESPN, National Geographic, and Hulu, all absorbed into one giant corporate ecosystem. They also operate.
Yeah, but that's what I feel like Disney's kind of become as a whole. Is just like stuff that you don't even really know is branded Disney. Like Disney owns Hulu. Who the fuck knew that? I mean, like, you see it when you're paying for your subscription, but, like, you don't associate anything on Hulu with Disney as a company. You don't, chat. I know you're saying me like you knew it, but I'm saying you don't associate, like, when you're watching National Geographic, you're not going, oh, this is Disney, or ESPN, or ABC. Maybe The Simpsons and Pixar, Indiana Jones, Marvel, obviously Star Wars, sure. But, like, Hulu and National Geographic, ESPN, it's just like,
They also operate 12 theme parks worldwide, a fleet of cruise ships, and an entire planned residential community in Florida. Its combined properties attract over 150 million visitors a year, more than any other major attraction on the planet by an order of magnitude. Even if you don't realize it, you barely go a single day without encountering something Disney owns. The films and programs we stream, the shows that kids everywhere watch in the morning, the merchandise in the shop window, the theme park advert on your feed. And like every empire, Disney has its castles and, most importantly for its survival, its subjects. Because the most valuable
Bro, they also get rid of every good fucking ride. Aren't they getting rid of Rock and Roller Coaster, which was like one of the only really good rides in Disney? Like, I just have the take that any other theme park's amazing. Any other theme park, comparably. Oh, they're rebranding it. So it's going to be the same ride, it's just not going to be Rock and Roller Coaster.
Instead, it's the loyalty of millions of adults who don't just enjoy Disney, but embrace it with every fiber of their being, where Disney has truly become their religion. Now, the analogy of
it's going to be Muppets, and they're still going to have that launch start. Dude, Rock and Roller Coaster, you're strapped into a chair, and it's like, all right! And then you get fucking launched into space. What am I going to have, Kermit? Or one of the Muppets come talk to me? They're going to fucking be like, you better get ready.
Disney adults as the subjects of the empire works so well because this is
like an animal? I don't understand. Oh, that would work. Yeah, animal.
Is a fantasy universe manufactured.
I don't know. That's like why are we going more kiddish though? To try and attract a new audience because they're realizing that the park's average age is like 38.
For subservience. And if you want to make anyone subservient to your brand, rich, generally middle-class adults without any religion are usually the holy grail. The overwhelming majority
rich atheists
of Disney adults are just white, college-educated North Americans, many of whom spend up to $10,000 a year on just Disney alone. And a lot of the time, most are spending considerably more.
It's gonna be about $4,000 for 2 days.
About $35,000.
You can easily...
What? 35 grand for what? For this vacation?
Most are spending considerably more.
It's gonna be about $4,000 for 2 days.
For 2 days? Yo, that sucks ass. You could go on a week-long fucking cruise to the Caribbean, fully paid, like literally exclusive, or not exclusive, what is it called? All inclusive. $4 grand?
$35,000.
You can easily burn through $1,000 in a single day at the parks without even doing anything.
2 days of heaven. 2 days of eating mid pizza and getting $9 Sprites. 2 days of having caramel apples that cost $12.
Extravagant. A Disney cruise can set you back more than a fortnight in Southeast Asia, and yet for
Fortnite
can set you back more than a fortnight in Southeast.
Oh. Other use of Fortnite. I thought we were involving Fortnite and Disney. I was going to say, wow, collab of the century. Short cruises, yeah, $1,900. International sailing, $3 grand.
Asia.
Yeah, week-long cruise, $4 grand.
And yet, for most, it's the only holiday they take. So think about what that really means. These are people with the money and freedom to go anywhere in the world, to explore different cultures, try new experiences, and see things that might genuinely challenge.
Saying you're going on a week-long vacation to Orlando Disney for the one trip you're taking that year is worse than saying you're going to Myrtle Beach. Where are you going to vacation? Myrtle. We're gonna go look at the water.
But instead, people just seem to come again and again to the same place, again and again. Not because they've weighed up their options, but because nothing else even occurs to them. Some will even go into huge debt to maintain their Disney addiction, even when their salaries don't.
Bro, I saw some guy on TikTok being like, look at this exclusive club. And it's like Club 67 or some shit. What is the name of the club? Exclusive Club Disney. Club 33. Not 67. Chad, I wasn't trying to make the meme there. I actually thought it was called that. Club 33. I saw some guy, he was like, look at the door, Club 33. I'll be there one day. It's just such a goal of mine. I'm like, dude, you are begging to pay Disney $250,000 a year to be a part of a club. That's what Club 33 is, by the way. You get like private tours of Disney and shit. It's $250,000 a year. Like, I think it's $250,000 front fee and then like a $30K a year fucking maintenance fee or some shit. How much is Club 33? Yeah, oh no, I was wrong. Initiation fees up to $60K, annual fees $10,000 to $30,000. Bro, that's absurd. Why are you paying? Like, do you just get unlimited access to the parks? Like, could I live in Disney?
Stretch far enough to cover it.
So the passes were $2,000
for the both of us.
What?
For both of us.
For
Freaking what? You spent $1,000 on just being at Disney on here.
Dude, Caleb Hammer interviewing everybody with the worst financial knowledge ever. So what do you spend your money on? Well, last month I spent $3,000 on DoorDash. How? How's that even possible? Were you literally DoorDashing every meal of every day?
$1,000 just on the Disney crap.
I mean,
So I'm in crippling debt. I own 9 cars.
For a day, for 1 day.
Some don't just visit regularly, they restructure their entire lives around proximity to the parks. From there, you can visit every day if you want, and some people practically do.
How does visiting nearly 3,000 times sound? Well, that has been done by this man, Jeff Wrights. He started visiting the park every day in 2012.
Think about how the rulers of ancient empires made their money. They owned the land, controlled.
Bro, that would be like a fucking fever dream. What are you doing for fun going to Disney every day for 3,000 days? What you would be doing a lap around, you get into a routine, going a lap around Epcot,
the culture and dictated
riding Space Mountain every day. That would get so boring.
traditions and rituals, and the subjects paid for the privilege. Disney has achieved something remarkably similar in our world, and it's getting stronger every single year. Disney adults naturally date other Disney adults through dedicated dating sites because who else would understand?
Didn't we find a Disney adult dating site?
We did. We did.
I mean, that shows you that you can find somebody in this world.
Bro, didn't we watch a video about somebody that went on the Mickey dating site and was like trolling people and saying they had like fetishes for like Goofy and shit? So they were like, what type of weird Disney shit are you into?
You can get married in front of the castle, you can get married in the Haunted Mansion, and instead of a traditional tiara, some Disney adults choose bespoke pieces to get married in, like these Mickey Mouses made in collaboration with some of the world's most premium brands, like Vera Wang. Honeymoons, also Disney, or maybe a Disney cruise. And if you're now thinking this must be as far as it goes, then you haven't heard of Golden Oak. Golden Oak is
When you see somebody get married in Disney, it's like every day. I respect it. I'm not dissing getting married in Disney, but just, dude, imagine you're proposing to your wife in Disney. There's just some kid vomiting from eating too much sugar in the back. Rebecca, this is the most... and just fucking some kid thrown up in a trash can.
is essentially for the boss level Disney adult. It's the most extreme form of constructing your life around Disney. It is a community.
You're not allowed to propose in Disney? No way. Really? I've seen so many proposals in Disney, though. It says, yes, you're absolutely allowed to propose at Disney parks. It's not banned. Proposals happen daily, but you have to you have to follow rules. Oh, you have to, like, let them know. Like, hey, I'm going to propose to my wife.
Community within Disney World itself, made up of eye-wateringly expensive mansions that start at around $10 million. Homes are built to Disney spec with
Yeah, Jack Pembroke tried to propose.
statues and paintings of characters in the gardens and on the walls, floors, and ceilings. So now we have homes, holidays, and relationships all inside the Disney universe. So what's left? Identity itself. Disney doesn't actually allow adults to wear full costumes to the park.
I also feel like we've seen so many videos about, like, Disney as a whole, but I find it so fascinating just because so many people are obsessed with it.
That's reserved
Yeah, you can't wear costumes. How stupid.
for children, so employees dressed as characters remain the only real versions. So Disney
Actually, no, that's probably a good thing. I could so see somebody getting kidnapped. Actually, that's a good rule. Never mind. Never mind. Yeah, because then there would be somebody that would show up in, like, a realistic Goofy outfit and, like, kidnap people. Like, that would be bad.
That's reserved for children, so employees dressed as characters remain the only real versions. So Disney bounding means dressing to evoke a character without technically being in costume. Now the word means that these people are bound for Disney, headed that way to evade the costume police, but it portrays a deeper truth. These adults are both bound by Disney, a soft, comfortable cage that poses no challenges, and they are bound to Disney. They eschew individual
Wait, am I allowed to show up to Disney dressed as a non-Disney character? Or is that not allowed either? Are you not allowed to wear any costume, for that matter?
identity and bolt themselves onto these characters instead. And
FNAF shit? Yeah, like, what if I show up as, like, Freddy Fazbear? Like, a realistic Freddy Fazbear.
then there's the most disturbing ritual of all, one that came to light through horrified employees. Disney adults often choose Disneyland as the final resting place for the remains of their loved ones. Employees have taken to social media to admit that they regularly have to go and clean the ashes of a dead person.
Yeah, I don't know about that, man. I think that having your ashes spread at a specific location is beautiful. If it's like the ocean at a resort that your grandpa used to love to go to, you know? Or like a park tree that they used to visit a lot. But in a public place, just dumping a bag of ashes just like in the fucking water at like one of the rides. Holy shit.
One custodian told the Journal the Haunted Mansion probably has so much human ashes in it that it's not even funny. Now, custodians told the Wall Street Journal that the job requires a special...
At the Haunted Mansion? Oh my god, wait. Fire idea. Have the ghost of one of your relatives haunt the Haunted Mansion for the rest of eternity. Huh. Actually, that's the best place to spread them.
Vacuum cleaner, which comes out at least once a month.
Disneyland is now recognized as one of the most...
There's like a bunch of ghosts showing up, and then you just see some like random woman. You're like, who are you? My granddaughter spread my ashes here 10 years ago. I haven't been able to escape since. Please, she hid the bag behind one of the projectors. Tell a worker to remove me.
Most popular places on Earth to scatter ashes.
I'm stuck here forever.
Employees receive special training on how to clean ashes. The company even has a special...
Well, fucking mop it up. What do you mean special training?
Code word grandma to alert employees that more...
We got a code, Grandma.
Ashes need...
We got a code, Grandma. Near where the turkey legs are sold, right behind one of the trees.
While it's quite morbid for us to think that these people's ashes are being vacuumed up by a 17-year-old on minimum wage and dumped in a bin with leftover turkey drumsticks, for Disney adults, it's a fitting end to a Disney life. So from birth...
And are they not knowing that like the ashes are immediately just gonna get cleaned up? Like, what's the point of scattering the ashes if they're just gonna get thrown out?
Days to weddings to death, every stage of life channeled through the same corporation. The psychoanalyst Eric...
Like, I think it's awesome to like throw your ashes in the ocean. Because it's like, who cares? You know, fucking chuck them in the ocean. Walk out on a rock path, on a pier, you know, fucking throw them in. Because that's not, like, bothering anything. Not in public. Yeah, bro. Like, there's, like, a family walking by, and you're like, Dad, what's that one lady doing with a bag of sugar? Oh, it's not sugar. What do ashes look like? What would they think it is? A bag of dirt. Oh, she's just helping the trees, honey.
To escape the anxiety of freedom by adopting pre-packaged identities. You don't have to figure out who you are if someone's already done it for you. You don't have to face the terror of choice if the choices have already been made. This is exactly what Disney offers, a full identity off of the shelf. Your character, your aesthetic, your community, all handed to you in a gift shop bag. They go so far as to engineer the physical environment to make sure it sticks. The parks use patented
Coco was a fire fucking movie.
scent cannons, called smellitzers, hidden
I had to watch that in Spanish class.
in walls and vents, firing specific fragrances at you hundreds of times a day. The olfactory system, meaning your sense of smell, connects directly to the brain regions for emotion and memory, which is exactly why Disney invested so heavily in scent engineering. There are also
Dude, they have so much shit. They have stuff where it's like supposed to look skewed so the castle looks bigger and they put it on a hill, and the way they angle the fucking streets that you're walking on magnifies everything. All of the flags on like the front street have like 49 stars or some shit, 52, so it's not actually an American flag, so they don't have to abide by those rules. Yeah, they throw certain scents out, the color path that you're at. Or it's even like the parking lot is painted a certain shade to like fuck up your eyes, so when you actually go to the park, it looks a lot more appealing because the fucking parking lot's so like dreary and draining that it looks so vibrant when you get into the park.
also over 30,000
They make it look addicting. That's not just Disney though. That's like every fucking theme park.
unique paint colors across the parks, including a shade called Go Away Green,
Yup!
specifically designed to make infrastructure invisible to guests. The background music in the morning is fast and exciting. Evening music slows down to make you linger and shop, so the brainwashing extends from the physical environment in parks, which still constitutes the vast majority of Disney's profits, to its sprawling
$34 billion a year or all time?
Digital empire of content and franchises. They started handing each film to a different
Wait, Disney Parks made more than Hulu, ESPN, and Disney Plus combined? No way.
and franchises. They started handing each film to a different director with a different vision and no shared outline. For Star Wars, they spent 2 films building up the villain Snoke, then killed him off with no explanation and then patched it over with somehow Palpatine returned. A line so lazy it became a meme as soon as the credits rolled. Then there was the infamous Snow White, which we've made tons of videos on before. Hundreds of millions were spent on a remake where the lead called the original weird and the princess stalker,
with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird. So we didn't do that this time.
while the romance was gutted in favor of girl boss leadership.
Bro, if you get cast for a Disney role, I feel like you just gotta glaze the fuck out of it. You gotta be like, it's such an honor to play. It's such an honor to play Extra 33 in the new fucking, Pinocchio movie. This is what an honor.
Arcs nobody asked for, where the dwarfs were replaced with CGI and it completely bombed.
Yeah, that was weird.
And everybody hated it, completely desecrating the original loved one. There's a pattern across everything Disney touches now where ideology takes priority over storytelling. We've seen it with the conflicts in politics in Florida with just the parks alone. But also in movies and TV, characters are constantly rewritten to represent something, where villains have become strawmen for whatever ideological message the writers want to push. The old Disney movies at least told universal stories about love, loss, courage and fear that could touch everyone. Now even Bob Iger himself had to publicly admit that Disney had been putting, quote, messaging over storytelling, and that he would finally no longer tolerate it. When the CEO of a company is saying that out loud, you know the rot has gone deep. But Disney adults, as visible and extreme as they are, only represent the most obvious layer. They're the ones who wear their loyalty openly, but many of us contribute too, and often without realizing we're doing it. Star Wars, Marvel and Pixar fans didn't sign up for Disney. Disney just comes for all of us. If you probably watch
Dude, I would love to go to Disney World and just like low-key be pessimistic the entire time I'm there until somebody picks a fight with me. Like standing in line for the new roller coaster, I'd be like, dude, this park sucks. I'd just be like talking to myself. I fucking hate this place, man. Like it smells like shit. Everybody here is annoying. It's fucking hot. We're in the swamp land of Florida. It's like 110 degrees outside. Some mom turns around. Shut your ass up! You don't respect the Disney culture.
anything on TV, it's coming for you. When Disney buys these companies, it acquires fandoms. Entire generations of people who had built deep emotional connections to these franchises suddenly found themselves at the company's mercy. And in some cases, the result has been nothing short of vandalism, as we saw with the failed Star Wars movies and series, or the constant Marvel
Why are we still making fucking Star Wars movies? Can I ask that? What's going on? Why are we dragging that to the end of the fucking earth? I feel like that's been going on for 30 years. Why don't we wrap that up? I know the money's churning, but it's kind of ruining the story. You know what I mean? I'm not going to try and compare Star Wars to Smiling Friends right now, but I am going to make a point that I think that the amount of upset fans are when a show or movie series ends at a peak outweighs the long-term damage you have from just printing new episodes and new movies over and over and over again until it gets to a point where people feel like you're actually being fed slop for the sake of just making money. Marvel had that problem as well. While Marvel has, fucking thousands of comics and, storylines to go off of, it's like, bro, you remember that stint from like 21 to like 23 where Marvel released like 9 movies? That was horrible. They were like it was like some of the worst films coming out of Marvel. There was like a few good ones, obviously. And it's like, you could talk about like Tom Holland's movie and the new Spider-Man and shit. But it's just like so many of them, like around that Morbius, like Eternals era, was just horrible. And they were just pumping them.
Reruns that seem to get worse and worse and worse, let alone all the countless other franchises ruined in the blatant crusade of
Thunderbolts was fire. That's new, though.
Profit extraction. Now, you might
And I'm pretty sure it underperformed. Like, it was a good movie, but it's just they don't sell now.
roll your eyes at a grown woman sobbing over Goofy or Mickey Mouse, but Disney is an all-consuming.
Did Thunderbolts perform well? 180 million project budget, 100 million marketing budget. Global office figures report ranging from 370 to 430 million. So it made money. But I feel like there used to be Marvel movies that made like 5x the budget. Now they're putting $300 million into a movie to make 100.
Beast that might destroy something you love eventually. We've mentioned it many times with films like Snow White, as this all tells us the most insidious thing about how the company operates. It isn't purely extrinsic, something bottled onto modern culture from the outside. It's intrinsic to our memories, our feelings, our sense of what safety and happiness mean. A company whose influence has grown inside of us since childhood, and it starts with something most of us completely underestimate. I mean, just think about some iconic Disney moments. Different films, different decades, different characters, but the same feeling. That warmth in your chest, that tug backwards to somewhere safe and simple. And don't get me wrong, in many cases there is.
But I don't think that's the media of Disney itself. I think that's you just remembering your childhood. Like, the Disney movies are great. The old Disney movies are amazing. But I think they're replaceable with anything on par in quality. It would give you the same emotional output. Like, whatever kids are watching now, they're gonna feel the same nostalgia for that Disney adults do that are millennials from their childhood in, the late 90s.
Great cinema with Disney. The mere existence of Disney adults doesn't negate everything Disney has ever done. This is a company that captures something universal about childhood. The wonder, the safety, the simplicity, the beauty, the innocence, and put it into words and pictures in a way nobody has ever done before. And that turned out to be the recipe for insane success. It allowed America's soft power to expand across the world. And there's a word for the feeling Disney films try so hard to create, and it's older and more powerful than most people ever realize. Nostalgia. And it comes from two ancient Greek words, nostos meaning to return home, and algos meaning pain. It was actually...
Bro, that's what I've been saying. Some of the most nostalgic movie for you? For me, it's the Pirates of the Caribbean films. I watched those all the time when I was like, 8, 10 years old.
Coined as a medical diagnosis in the 17th century to describe the crippling homesickness.
Cars, for sure. I rewatched Cars 1 the other day. It was awesome.
Of Swiss soldiers fighting.
Actually, I don't know. There's probably a more nostalgic movie than Pirates of the Caribbean. Finding Nemo's nostalgic. Not only because I would watch the movie, but I feel like, is this relatable? When I used to go to the dentist, every time when I was a kid and I was at the dentist and they were doing my teeth, they had Disney movies playing on at the top, and it was always Finding Nemo. It was always Finding Nemo playing. Toy Story 1's also nostalgic.
Abroad who longed for their homeland so desperately.
Finding Nemo while I'm getting my teeth cleaned.
That some became physically ill. Nostalgia isn't happiness, it's closer to a kind of grief, a yearning for something you once had or think you had that you can never fully return to. And that's what makes it so commercially potent. If the feeling were wholly satisfying, you'd experience it once and move on. But
Bro said Turbo. Can we get a ban on that, kid? The snail movie? That's the most nostalgic film for you is Turbo.
And again, because it never quite delivers what it promises. Disney enthusiasts are suspended.
Turbo. What a bad fucking pick.
In that nostalgia cycle, and it's highly addictive. We all probably reminisce about childhood or when we were young and nothing mattered, but Disney positioned itself to capitalize on that wistful emotion. Of course,
I'm not saying it's not a good movie, chat. I'm saying the most nostalgic movie is Turbo. I feel like you could say so many other movies that are just like more I'm sitting here arguing with what was prominent in your life. Never mind. I don't know what I'm doing. Dude, I'm telling you, you had a better movie in your life. You did. You surely did. I'm telling you that. I'm telling you that Turbo was not the most nostalgic movie for you. I don't know you, and I don't care that I don't know you. You have a more nostalgic movie than Turbo.
Disney didn't invent nostalgia, but they were the first to understand how essential it is to our human experience. They recognized it as an unresolved need, and if you could make yourself the answer to its calling, you'd make people dependable. The fertile ground for this was childhood. That's where our deepest emotional connections are formed, and for a company whose long-term survival depended on those connections lasting well beyond childhood, their work had to start there. So Disney invested enormous resources into understanding how children form emotional bonds, psychological research into their emotional drivers, how they interpret symbols, what feels authentic versus manufactured. They used those findings to calibrate their films with specific color palettes, certain music intervals, and certain narrative beats, all to create maximum emotional renaissance in developing brains. We associate a lot of this work with big tech, but Disney, funnily enough, was there first. Before the 90s and 2000s, the big commercial problem was still that children's films, even the most...
Bro, Cars was like the most visually appealing movie that I can think of animation-wise from like that like early 2000s era. Like Cars 1 and Cars 3 were so cool as well because it was like I loved the car aspect, but also the story was great.
Successful ones don't turn a company into a conglomerate. Disney's parks were making the serious money, but while you can hook children in with film,
WALL-E, bro, I try to watch WALL-E all the time, and Brooke never wants to watch WALL-E with me. But I'm not gonna watch WALL-E alone, because why would I watch WALL-E alone?
they needed to tap into that adult money. And look at Walt Disney himself explaining this.
Were your films principally designed for children?
Well, no, you have to appeal to the adult, or, well, the adults have the money, the children don't have any money.
So they had to crack adulthood, and luckily, an early Disney movie, Peter Pan, provided the perfect solution. You have to stop people from growing up. Disney later summed up the strategy in 2 words, age decompression, and it comes into its own in the last 10 to 20 years. We've been sold the idea that adulthood is a rude awakening, and of course it feels like that sometimes. Work, bill, rent, stress, disappointment in friendships, relationships. In this real world, people don't burst into song on the street unless they're intoxicated or
Bro, it sucks, but it's being alive, bro. Like, you're not conscious when you're a kid like that, bro. That's the take that I'm gonna have. Yeah, you're literally living in a wonderland. It's like an ignorance is bliss type shit. You have no idea what's going on. You're not actually aware that you're alive. Like, when you're 6 years old, dude, yeah, oh, it's awesome to watch fucking Incredibles for the first time and be like, oh, this is so cool. I wish I was a superhero. And it sucks being an adult and having all these tasks, but you also have the freedom to, like, understand your purpose in life and, like, fucking, you know, have meaning beyond just, like, corny shit until you die.
Going through some sort of mental crises. Strangers glare at you for making eye contact. You spend your days in cramped flat shares, walking concrete streets, working in glass offices. Not extraordinary places bursting with color and life. This isn't what you were promised throughout childhood. You're a princess, a prince, a chosen one, just waiting to be discovered. But the problem is that when you treat adults like children long enough, they start to behave like them.
Bro getting fed by Goofy. Oh my god.
You treat adults like children long enough, they start to behave like them. The infantilization of culture is now endemic to society.
I'm telling you right now, if I had to wear that fuck-ass mascot uniform, I'm not getting paid enough to feed some random guy eggs.
My safe space, I'm protecting my energy, this is my self-care. We've built an entire vocabulary around retreating from challenges and wrapped it in the language of mental health, which makes it impossible to question. If someone says Disney is their safe space, what are you gonna do? Tell them that their feelings are wrong? Attacking their coping mechanism? You'd sound like a monster. And that's the shield. Corporations love this because a customer who believes they need your product.
I don't have a problem with Disney adults liking Disney and being turbo fans of Disney. I have a problem with them, like, outwardly being scammed by the company they love. Like, you're literally getting conned. Like, they're scamming, they're siphoning money out of you because they know that this is a point in your life where you could save money, but you have money to spend, and they're gonna take every fucking dime you have.
So what do you do when adult life just does feel too intense? Well, you go back to your safe place. Now we all turn to our favorite form of escapism when we're in a rough patch. Some play the video games they played as kids or cook food they had as kids. It's okay to—
What type of escapism are y'all going to? Back to childhood? I kind of hated my childhood. I kind of, like, I don't know. It's like, I don't want to say that I'm not going back to that shit. But, like, I'm saying, like, early childhood, bro. I was a lonely-ass kid. I was last pick. I had no friends. Like, I had divorced parents. Like, bro, I don't know. That shit was, like, lame most of the time. I wasn't, like, I mean, it was a bad financial situation. Like, my mom would go to, like, Coinstar to get fucking cash in coins to buy groceries. So we weren't, like, rich at the time, you know? So I don't know. It was just, like, there's nothing that I reach back to from that era. Not that I hated it. Like, I did, like, I didn't hate my childhood. I liked being a kid. But there's nothing that I can think of that I'm, like, escaping to. I miss my preschool. I used to cry at preschool that I wanted to go home. I sat in a corner on this red couch thing with a wall, and I would fucking sloppy cry. I would go, like to the point where I was going to throw up because I miss my mom. And then there was this big lady that would come talk to me, and she's like, are you ready to come out? She was so nice. And I'd be like, yeah. And then I'd be fine the rest of the day. 5 minutes later, I'd be happy. That's being a kid. I remember that. 5 minutes later, I'd be like running around, fucking around. Literally not even upset at all. Like, couldn't even remember the fact that I was just crying for 20 minutes.
Escape occasionally. But when manufactured on an empire global corporate level, escaping becomes a trap its subjects willfully live in because the alternative is too frightening. Ever since childhood, they've been made long-term, lifelong consumers. The psychoanalyst Eric Fromm called this automaton conformity, the idea that people escape the anxiety of freedom by adopting pre-packaged identities.
Already told this story. Yeah, sometimes I'm going to repeat myself in my life, buddy.
You don't have to figure out who you are if someone's already done it for you. You don't have to face the terror of choice if the choice is—
Ooh, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse is mad nostalgic, but that's not like escapism. You see, I'm not going back to watch that. Chat, what do y'all do for escapism? I play video games. I've played video games since I was a kid, and I play video games every day now. That's my escape, I guess. Like, literally, my mind shuts off video games. That's it. You smoke weed? Okay, yes, that's escapism. But I'm saying it's not escapism to a point in my childhood. Like, I'm just high. I wasn't smoking weed when I was a kid.
People are going to the same place, consuming the same stories, riding the same rides, wearing the same ears year after year. There's no true exploration, just the illusion of exploration mirrored in a form that feels safe and easy. You might have heard of Plato's allegory of the cave, which is one of the world's oldest thought experiments. Inside the cave, the prisoners are chained up facing a wall watching shadows flicker in the firelight. They've never been outside to see the real world, and the shadows are all they know. So to them, the shadows are the real world. The important bit is what happens when one prisoner finally gets dragged outside. The sunlight is blinding, the real world is overwhelming, confusing, and just too much to process. You might feel like this when you're about to start a real adventure. You might step off the train, plane, or bus in an entirely new place and feel anxious yet excited trepidation. It could also be something like starting a new job, going to a new school, or heading to university for the first time. It's uncomfortable by definition. This isn't your comfort zone. This is what makes it an adventure, and eventually you become more comfortable. These are the moments where life happens. But when someone feels thrown into the unknown, their first instinct tends to be that they want to go back. Disney manufactured a fake representation of adventure that keeps people cocooned inside their cave, and honestly, it's kind of evil genius. For the most extreme followers, it made the cave so beautiful, so emotionally optimized, so perfectly calibrated that the real world just could never compete at all. But Plato's point was—
in a real world example, isn't that something that exists within Paris? Like, so many to France, so many foreigners that go to Paris are so disappointed that there's like a term for it where they start hallucinating and like throwing up. Paris syndrome is a severe and temporary psychological condition experienced by tourists mainly from Japan, whose idealized, romanticized, and media-driven image of Paris crashes against the reality of the actual city. Like, a lot of Japanese people that go to Paris are so shocked by how bad it is. Not bad, but mid, in comparison to how romanticized the city actually is, that they, like, start vomiting. Tachycardia, vomiting, paranoia, and slight hallucinations. So they just start freaking out. It's like a panic attack.
It isn't that the cave is evil, it's that the prisoner who stays there will never know what they're missing. You can't miss a sunset you've never seen. You can't long for depth you've never experienced.
I feel bad, but at the same time, imagine being in Paris and you just see some guy being like, what? 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 You just see, he lands in Paris, he walks out thinking it's going to be like, it's just some dude smoking a cigarette being like, what do you want in French? Like, just some rude Frenchman. Just piss on the streets. There's a homeless guy. You know, it's just like a regular ass city.
The cave doesn't feel like a cage, that's the deeper problem. And this is where this whole video stops being about a story on Disney adults and becomes a story about all of us. Because making up—
Dude, there's probably a line of work of being like the romanticized individual in France. Like, you just wait at the airport for, like, tourists to come out and be like, oh, hello, mademoiselle. May I take you on a tour of France? May I take you on a tour? You have, like, the fake mustache and everything. Then you just scam him out of money.
Must feel comfortable with the cave is the dominant strategy behind social media, behind every streaming service, and lately, generative AI. Every app on your phone is designed around the principle to keep it simple, keep it rewarding, keep them coming back. Swipe right, swipe left, like, subscribe, follow. Don't make anyone think too hard. Don't make anyone wait. Don't make anyone uncomfortable. Reduce every interaction to its simplest possible form and repeat it infinitely. They create environments where the content is familiar, the rewards are predictable, and the outside world, with all its friction and ambiguity, starts to feel like too much effort. Disney has been pioneering this model for 100 years, targeting psychological engineering at children, building an empire driven by profit extraction at a level that puts people into more debt than substance abuse, brainwashing you since you're a child to always stay a lifelong Disney consumer. And the greatest trick...
Yo, I will say, bro, that cookie would rope me in. You see that shit? Oh my god, that looks good. $8?
Lifelong Disney consumer. And the greatest trick they played was making the fake world feel like enough, making the fake experience feel like a life. That's what makes the cave feel so complete that the prisoners never even think to look for the door. But don't be fooled into thinking this is some far-flung issue situated inside a theme park in Florida. You might find yourself or someone you know sitting right there with them, watching the shadows dancing on the wall.
Yeah, it exists outside of Disney. It's just most seen in Disney because of just, I think, social media now. I don't think that many people would know about Disney adults if, you know, short-form media wasn't a thing. Everybody thinks that it's okay. Everybody forgets that it's okay that you're supposed to grow up. We're supposed to embrace the different joys that come with adulthood. I think there's a mixture of it, right? I think there's a mixture. I think there's people that act like they can enjoy things that they did when they were kids. Like people that are like, you've ever seen those videos where it's like, you're still playing video games as a grown-ass man? I'm like, yeah, dude, what the fuck? Why would you not play video games? But at the same time, you do have to, like, embrace the idea of, you know, growing up. All right, I gotta go piss again real quick.